On Wednesday, following 2 days of lengthy testimony, the Senate Education Committee approved a bill to establish an education savings account program. Senate Bill 1038 would allow the parents of students not enrolled in the K-12 school system to access state education funds that typically go to public schools.
One size of education does not fit all children. This is true. I like what some of these people have said. Parents should be allowed to use their own tax dollars how they choose. This is also so true, and freedom of choice is constitutional. Contrary to the argument, the education savings account funds the few. Education savings account vouchers allow choice for all Idaho students, not just those whose parents can afford private schools.
This bill, like most voucher schemes, leaves no accountability or recourse to the taxpayers on how millions of their dollars are spent. Private schools and vendors do not answer to elected office holders, such as school board members and state lawmakers. Elected officials are typically taxpayers' most direct check and balance on how their taxpayer dollars are spent. Despite what has been said about accountability, you'll notice that nowhere in this bill is there any accountability for the private schools and vendors that will receive millions in taxpayer dollars. I can't remember a time that this legislature gave away millions of dollars without any accountability.
Those who select private or homeschool have made a choice that their children face no uniform standard of growth, their schooling is subject to no scrutiny, they face no penalties to their children not demonstrate actual learning, whereas our public schools face multiple layers of accountability, including from this body. This bill is a simple question of this body now deciding that those who choose private or homeschool don't have to face the consequences or challenges of those choices.
When you engage a free market, you actually have a plethora of different possibilities of how you might use funds. The idea of an ESA is exactly that it isn't a voucher and it isn't a public school. It's an opportunity for the market to supply options to students based on their needs. Here's the thing about markets. This is why I love the free market system. Markets drive quality up and costs down.
The parents are directing these funds. So as long as the money flows to private or religious schools, or religious private schools, whatever you want to call them, as a result of the parents choosing where to send their child, that program is constitutional. And if a state chooses to subsidize private education. Now, the Supreme Court didn't say they had to, they just said it was allowable. If a state chooses to subsidize private education, it cannot exclude religious schools simply because they are a religious school or instruct from a religious viewpoint, because as our Supreme Court justices said, that does violate the First Amendment and can be seen as religious discrimination.